Hi, it's John. As you know, I love Tavistock. Today I'm going to go inside to Sovereign Wines, check out their new shop. It's been open for a little bit, and speak to Dave and find out a little bit of the history. Right, I'm inside Sovereign Wines, going to talk to Dave a little bit and just kind of find out a little bit more about the business. So Dave, tell me about a little bit of the history of Sovereign Wines.
Well, the company dates back over 30 years now. Charles Stevenson founded it on the corner of Russell Street and West Street. And then eventually moved up to the Plymouth Road Industrial Estate, where Drake's Vets currently are located, and then moved into the trade side of things. So rather than selling to individuals, selling to companies, and opened a warehouse. When Charles retired a few years ago, his business manager of 10 years, Mike McGarry, bought the company from him. So essentially you've got the same people doing the same thing,
Continuously
but under a different boss. Yeah, that's right.
You told me a little story a few minutes ago about in the early days, kind of a one-man band, and they were even kind of labeling private bottles.
Well, Charles and his wife Moira came up with the idea of providing bottles with a unique label to promote local sales. But then, of course, they had to get them labelled, and Charles and Moira used to sit in front of the fire, I understand, at night, physically licking labels and putting them on the bottles one at a time. So, yeah, very much a one-man band startup, grown into a successful business over the years.
Come a long way since then, as we can see behind
sure.
us. So, obviously, you're local to the area. What do you love about Tavistock?
Tavistock's a unique town. I mean, it has been, and probably still is, one of the best places in the country to live. It's a really unique space. I was a policeman in my previous life, and I turned down promotion to Plymouth in order to remain here. My wife's a school teacher, so we really entrenched ourselves in the local community. And when I retired, I just happened to walk into the wine warehouse to buy some wine one day when they were short of drivers. So I started driving, and they recognised that I was an enthusiast, and I'm still here years later, selling people wine. Yeah.
And speaking of that, obviously there's a huge selection around the shop. There's Old World, there's New World, whites, reds. Is there anything that's kind of the most popular variety? Does it depend on the season?
It does depend on the season. It also depends on fashion. So if you were to go back 5 years ago, probably the most common grape we'd be asked for wine for would be Merlot. And that's been overtaken by Malbec now, another red grape. Primarily originates from France, but now mainly grown in Argentina. Yeah. So there's very definitely an element of fashion involved in this. Nationally, people tend to drink more white than red, but it varies from season to season. And with the coronation coming up, I think we'll see a bit of an uprise in sparkling wines.
Yes, definitely. Okay. What about promotions? I mean, I think there's a wine of the week. Are there regular promotions that you run aside from that?
Yep. As you'd expect from the name, we open a different bottle every week, and we try and vary that significantly. For example, this week we're doing a house wine, which isn't an obvious choice because often when people come into a merchant, they want to try something a bit special. But it's also important to realise that if you're going to have a party or a group of friends around, choosing a specialist wine can actually leave some people thinking, "Oh, I'm not sure about that."
Much, yeah.
Yeah, whereas a house wine is designed to appeal very widely and very genuine. That's what we're doing this week. So next week we will probably do something a bit more specialist. Probably a rosé next week, I think, because of the
sun should be coming out, maybe. Right, well, Sovereign Wines, another great reason to get down to Tavistock, a great town to live, work, shop, and invest. Thanks, Dave.
My pleasure. Nice to see you guys.